I hope you found the Autism Internet module on prompting useful. Remember that, although we are focusing specifically on individuals with ASD, many of these strategies are useful when working with other students. This is certainly the case for prompting. Now we will talk about visual support strategies. Visual support strategies are extremely beneficial for individuals with ASD, as they tend to process visual information better than they process auditory information. These strategies involve the use of objects, photographs, symbols, and/or text to support understanding. While often considered a strategy only for those with developmental disabilities such as ASD, Down syndrome, and so on, visual support strategies are used by most of us. Think about your daily life and the ways in which you use visual information. When in the community, you probably get information from environmental signs, such as enter and exit, washroom signs, and so on. When you go to a restaurant, you refer to a menu to know what your options are. You probably have a calendar where you schedule your activities and set alarms to remind you of deadlines or other commitments. You probably refer to visual instructions from time to time, perhaps if you are following a recipe or if you are trying to put together that new piece of furniture from IKEA. When you think of visual supports in this way, you realize that we all rely on visual information. For individuals with ASD, visual information is often very important. It helps them to process information and remember information. Let's look at some ways in which visual supports can be used. Visual schedules are a common support strategy for individuals with ASD. Visual schedules provide information regarding the order of activities. They may also provide specific information regarding the steps in a task. Visual schedules are especially useful for those who have difficulty transitioning from one environment to another or from one task to another. It can be helpful to see what's next. Visual schedules can help individuals understand expectations, such as the work they may need to do before they can access a preferred activity. Here are two examples of visual schedules. In these schedules, picture communication symbols from a software program called BoardMaker are used to depict activities. The schedule on the left shows symbols attached to the front cover of a binder using Velcro. The schedule on the right shows symbols held in clear plastic pockets. The page of plastic pockets is designed for holding photographic slides, but works very well for holding symbols. When individuals use visual schedules, they remove the symbols as each activity is completed. For the schedule on the left, individuals remove each symbol in turn and place the symbol for the completed activity inside the binder on a strip of Velcro. For the schedule on the right, individuals turn over each symbol as activities are completed. Here are two examples of visual schedules to teach the steps in a specific task. The image on the left shows a schedule for getting dressed after swimming at the pool. This schedule was laminated and a magnet was attached to the back. The individual using this schedule would take it into the change room cubicle and, using the magnet, attach it to the inside of the door. The image on the right shows the steps for hand washing. This schedule was laminated and placed on the wall above the sink. Visuals can also be used to teach rules. Individuals with ASD may have difficulty understanding or remembering the rules. Symbols can be used to depict classroom rules, social rules, and rules for other situations such as field trips or activities. It's important to review the rules with the individual frequently and to place the visual in a location where the individual can refer to it. Visuals can also be used to provide time-related information. Many individuals with ASD have difficulty understanding and/or remembering when an activity will occur, how long an activity will last, when an activity will end, or how long one needs to wait for something. Let's look at some ways in which this information can be represented visually. Clock faces can be added to visual schedules to show the time each activity will begin. If using clock faces as opposed to digital times, it's easier for those who cannot yet tell time to match the image to an actual clock. The time timer was initially a desktop clock used to show time passing. It is now available as a watch and as an app. The time timer can be set for up to 60 minutes. As time passes, the red disc disappears. When the red is gone, the waiting is over. The time tracker is another clock used to show the passing of time. The timer acts as either a countdown or count-up timer. It's possible to set each color for any interval. For example, if a student is using the computer and will need to stop in 15 minutes, the timer could be set to show green for 13 minutes, yellow for 1.5 minutes to warn that computer time will soon end, and red for 30 seconds to give the student time to transition off the computer. There is a free app called Stop Go that works in a similar manner. Visuals can be used to provide environmental information as well. This helps give structure to the individual with ASD. Environmental supports can provide information regarding where to find or place materials, such as in the image on the right. Each bin is clearly labeled with an image showing what toy belongs in each bin. Photographs of people can be used to indicate belonging. Finally, the universal no symbol can be attached to items that are off limits or unavailable. Of course, the universal no symbol needs to be taught. Not every individual with ASD will know what this means. Visual supports can also be used to show individuals what options are available, helping them to make and communicate their choices. Providing choices is an antecedent-based strategy that you learned about earlier. This is often useful for preventing problem behavior. Individuals are far more likely to follow instructions or do tasks as directed if they are given opportunities to make choices. You can offer many kinds of choices. You can allow individuals to choose the order of activities by asking, for example, which do you want to do first, a board game or computer? You can allow individuals to choose activities or materials. You can provide options regarding where to work or play. You can also allow individuals the option of who they would like to work or play with. Many children and youth with ASD that you encounter will already be using a variety of visual support strategies. Rather than create your own, it's best to first find out what visual supports the individual is already using. It's best to use visual strategies similar to those the person already uses. If the person isn't using visual support strategies, you may want to discuss this with team members to determine ways in which visual strategies could be used in your setting. You will now return to the Autism Internet modules to complete the module on visual supports. In this module, you will see many examples of visual supports that you can use with individuals you work with. Again, you may find that these strategies are useful for any child or youth you work with, including those who do not have disabilities. Remember, when you have completed the post-assessment for the module, save the assessment results for submission to your instructor.